Hi, I'm EllenSeltz. I'm the author of Survivor's Trust for Serealities.com. And this is what you get when you're married to a media guy and say, honey, I need to record an author interview. So we've got a little bit of high-tech, low-tech going on today. I've got my interview questions and my fancy backdrop, so bear with me. So Rachel from the website team contacted me and wanted me to do this interview and sent me a bunch of questions. So we're going to pretend that I'm talking to her, but I'm talking to you, but I'm really talking to myself. Okay. Question one is, where do you find inspiration for your story ideas? Short answer, everywhere. Long answer, I think building a story is very much like putting together an outfit or designing a room, neither of which I'm very good at, but other people are, so you'll get the principle. You start with one thing that catches your imagination or appeals to you, and then you kind of sort through your archive or your messy attic of facts and ideas and news stories, other people, experiences, and you try to match things up to make it more interesting, to get the look you want, to get the tone you want, to make it juicy and exciting and interesting. So it's sort of a combination of an inspiration, a central idea, and a building process. How do you go about creating and developing characters? Do you have a specific approach or method? Well, my approach to developing characters as a writer is very much based in my experiences as an actress. I was a SAG and Equity actor for many years, and it always starts for me with the voice. What does the character sound like? What does the character have to say? A lot of times I'll just sort of find myself writing out a monologue or a speech or a scene with a lot of conflict between two characters, all dialogue. Then I pick it apart and who is this person? What's their goal? What's their problem? What's their obstacle? What are their circumstances? What are their values? What are their life experiences? So that it's a kind of a 360 view of the person, but it always starts with that voice. What do they have to say? Do you ever base characters off of real people? Not completely. Visually, yes, I am not a very good visualizer. So if I'm going to describe someone, I need to be either looking at a photograph or have a very clear picture in my mind's eye of someone that I've seen and know well. But in terms of character qualities, personality, quirks, mannerisms, it's usually a combination. I may visually describe someone with a particular quirk, but they may have a completely different personality or character traits than the person that I knew in real life who had those superficial similarities. Are there particular themes or topics that tend to surface often in your writing? That is a very good question. That's hard. I didn't really start writing until after I had lost my mother. And I do find that parental relationships, mother relationships, characters who have lost their mothers, characters who don't get along with their mothers, who are separate, that separation. I was fortunate I had a very good relationship with my mother, but that idea of isolation, of loss, of separation from your mother it bubbles up a lot. Another thing is mirroring. That comes up a lot for me. discovering something about someone else by finding yourself doing the same thing they did. Either, oh, I'm saying something my parents said to me, now I understand why they said it. Or physical mirroring, finding yourself in a physical position and realizing, oh, that's what that means. That's how that person felt when they looked this way. I think understanding people is hard. That's probably why I'm interested in acting and writing. It's because it's about trying to understand people. And I think we all have these moments when we suddenly understand someone. And it changes our view of them. So what's your biggest challenge as a writer? My biggest challenge as a writer is my biggest challenge as a human, which is disciplining myself in the use of my time. I'm very good at creating elaborate schedules and structures of this is how it's got to be, and this do A, B, C, D, and lists. Oh, Lord, with the lists. Following them when other circumstances change. Being adaptable. To be consistent. Being consistent in a changing situation. That's my biggest challenge. What do you love most about writing? I think it's connecting with people. Offering people something that I wrote is, to me, like offering them hospitality. Inviting them into my home, have a cup of tea, have a cup of coffee, let's talk, and I love getting feedback from people who have reacted to something I've written, but good or bad. I love that conversation, because when people read what you wrote, they're spending time with you and getting to know you in a way that you don't get a lot of opportunities for out in the world. At least I don't. I'm a mom, I have 2 kids, I work from home, and spending that time to really unpack your head with somebody is rare. I think it's getting rarer in our world, and so that's very precious. Which authors and books have inspired your own writing the most? Oh golly. Probably a lot of really cheap genre fiction that I enjoyed the heck out of, but am not willing to publicly claim. But the writers I really look up to would be P.G. Wodehouse. I think he's hilarious. I love his humor. I love how his humor is verbal. He does a lot of wordplay, but he also does a lot of character humor. He can sketch a personality in just a few words, and then make that person come to life in a way that's just charming and delightful. Even horrible people, in fact, some of his most horrible characters are the funniest. I love Dorothy Sayers. I'm a mystery buff. I write mystery novels on my own. I very much enjoy Alistair McCall Smith. He's funny, he can craft a great story, and he has this empathy, this kindness, this gentle and sincere attitude in his writing that without irony, there's no snark. And I just really enjoy reading his work. It's so welcoming. I guess it's that hospitality thing. Do you have an all-time favorite literary character? I'm sorry, I can't. That's impossible. That's impossible. I wouldn't even know where to start with that. All of them. I don't know. What's your favorite aspect of writing for Serealities.com? I think that the format of this web serial with the interactivity is fascinating. trying to get a new dilemma every 500 words in a story that has, a through line and is cohesive. It's so compact. It's a really juicy challenge, and I love it a lot. It's making me a better writer. And I also, some of the serials that I read on Serealities take one approach to the cliffhanger and the interactivity, which is voting on the event of the story, the world of the story. And that's fascinating. But the thing that I find so intriguing, and that some of my readers are coming back to me about, that they really like too, is so far, and I plan to stick with it, each choice is a choice for the main character. What is she going to do? How is she going to handle this situation? Where does she go from here? And so the readers aren't shaping the world of the story. I created that. It is, the other characters are who they are, and the circumstances are what they are. The readers are actually shaping the main character, who she is. Because, of course, who a character is what they choose. And that is mind-blowing for me. I love it. It's freaky because I'm a plotter. I like to have everything outlined and then write from outline point to outline point. So having these big question marks is a little nerve-wracking, but I really like it. I love it. So what do you see yourself writing next? Well, I'm still hard at it with my second novel. I write a mystery series. It's called The Enigma Variations, and my main character, my detective, is called Mr. Motley. So my first book, Mr. Motley Gets His Man, is about how he acquired his sidekick. And that's out on Amazon and Kindle. And Barnes & Noble. You can order that online. The second book is called Mr. Motley and the Dying Fall, and that's a mystery. It takes place on an island, a private island, owned by an eccentric millionaire, and it involves the rekindling of an old flame for Motley of a woman who got away earlier in his life. So that, I'm hoping, will be off to the editor very soon, because I have 5 more books in that series that need to get written. So I got to get busy. Mr. Motley also has some short stories out. So it's a completely different genre than Survivor's Trust. Survivor's Trust is very contemporary chick lit. It's going to have a mystery element in it. But the Mr. Motley stories are vintage, classic mysteries. They're set in the 1930s in England. They're a lot of fun, lots of humor. So that's what else I'm working on now. So please stop by every week for another new episode of Survivor's Trust. I have a few ideas of places Cordelia could go, doors that could open or close for her. But I really need you to tell me what she's going to do, because I don't know. I don't know what she's going to do until you tell me. So thanks a lot. I hope you liked the interview. I hope you loved the story. Please leave some feedback and vote every week. Bye.